Hi, so today me and Bia have chosen the question, I'm considering telling my parents, family, friends about my eating disorder. What kinds of questions and responses might I expect? To answer this, I think I will share my own personal experience with telling my parents and a few of my friends. I didn't really involve my other family members, but that might give you some idea of some of the responses and questions that can arise when you share the fact that you are struggling with others. And I think it's something I can only say at a personal level. When my father learned about my eating disorder, actually because a friend of mine who I had told him, he asked me to go for a walk with him. He expressed the fact that he was concerned and that he wished that I wouldn't engage in such behaviors. He asked me if I was alright. He asked me if I was planning to stop. And he told me to be careful and that I looked fine the way that I am, which is a good response and an incomplete response in the sense that he gave me my own personal distance but expressed his concern to me, but at the same time didn't acknowledge that perhaps it was more than an image problem. And over time, he would bring it up every now and again, especially if he saw that I wasn't eating that much, or if he saw me as being too thin. He would say, well, why don't you have something to eat? Have this. It's not too bad for you, it's not fattening or whatever. And eventually he started giving me a weekly budget to do my own share of the family food shopping, which I suppose could go either way, but for me it was really helpful to be able to purchase things that I was comfortable eating. And knowing that he was concerned and he cared really helped me to sort of get better. My mother responded a little differently. She definitely showed more overt concern. She asked me, how long it had been going on and why, and if I needed help. And she didn't get angry with me. Neither one of my parents got angry with me, and nobody got angry with me, as a matter of fact. But she definitely wanted to know why and where it was going, and she definitely started calling me more and asking me how I was doing more, and still will bring it up every now and again to this day, although it's gotten better because we've built trust since I went into recovery. But sometimes with people, it can be overwhelming if they're really close to you, because they might ask you questions or be so involved to a degree that you don't really want them to be, and you might not really have the answers to all of their questions. And it's hard when someone asks you how you're doing and you want to seem like you're fine. And I would just say, try not to lie. Telling friends was a little bit different. When I told my best friend, she became very involved and asked me a lot of questions, and would ask me how I was doing, and would ask me if I was willing to go out and have a bite to eat with her, and she would get frustrated when she thought that I was not doing so well with the food. And she actually got angry at me a few times. But as with family, like, sometimes people that you're very close to can care a whole lot. And we've worked through this, and she's been more accepting over time of letting me kind of do my own thing, but she still cares, and she still wants to make sure that I'm doing alright. And I told a few other friends. Some people sort of took a distant approach, I think because they didn't know quite what to say. I think with the one friend I'm thinking about in particular, perhaps my telling her came out of the blue to her because they think that she was oblivious. But although she never asked me a lot of direct questions about the eating disorder itself, she told me that I should be fine with who I am because other people like me for who I am, and that I looked fine, and that if I ever needed to talk, I could call her and we could hang out. And I actually became better friends with her through this than I had been before. And a few times after that, she asked me how I was doing, but she definitely took a more distant approach. If people are distant, I think it's because they honestly don't know what to say. They don't want to make it worse. Some people do acknowledge that it's not just a problem with food and weight, and some people don't. Some people simply said to me, "Oh, but you look great." But you have to understand, like, that is from their own ignorance. They're still concerned. I would tell people I'm really trying to work through this. Having the support there is good to talk to somebody if you feel like you need to, because you've opened that door. If the questions and the involvement gets too high, you can always tell someone that you appreciate their concern, but you'd wish that they back down a little bit. I think with family it's a little more difficult because there's that insane degree of closeness or care sometimes, especially with my mother, and it made her very sad to see her daughter struggling with something that she felt powerless over, and she definitely tried to intervene and get me to see a therapist or do something about it. And I did end up seeing a therapist. But I suppose the best advice that I can give is that everyone's going to respond differently. Some people are going to be over-involved. Some people might be under-involved if they're not quite sure what to say or do. And other people may be able to strike a balance and give you the support. I didn't get any bad responses. It's very difficult to tell other people, but just expect there to be some questions and some sort of response, perhaps concern, confusion, and questions, maybe what you're going to do about it, why, how you're doing, and things like that. So I guess that's all I really have to say on that right now. I'm studying for finals. I have a week left of school, so it's really insane, but see you guys later.